Hello, this is Goku4071 here with my Alice reviews. Now this is the second part where I'm going to be talking about Alice in Wonderland, the recently new movie that just came out from Disney. And let's get it started. Okay. This is the second attempt Disney has done with this story. The first time they did this story was back in the 50s, I think it was. I don't know how accurate it was to the story, but as a kid I enjoyed it. So now they do this new movie, and the trailers are so freaking misleading. I've seen so many reviews, and everyone talks about that this is how misleading this was, because the first trailer makes it look like it's the classic story of Alice in Wonderland, and it's not. It's actually a sequel. And luckily, because she's too old to play Alice. But yeah, this is definitely a sequel. Now, the story of the movie, before I go into any more, is that this woman is part of the social thing. It's in the, I think in the I don't know, it's 18, 19, somewhere around there. Or I think it's the 19th or the 20th century. Yeah, I think it's the 19th. Before cars. I'm not exactly sure about the exact date, but yeah. And basically they get hooked up and they get married, and she's gonna get married. And she's been having this dream, about this wonderful world, and she sees this rabbit, and she thinks she's having a daydream, and she goes, and she ends up going to Wonderland. And when she goes to Wonderland, everyone's like, "No, you're not really Alice. You're the wrong Alice." And she has to fight the Jabberwocky, which, believe it or not, the Jabberwocky is in a poem in the book Alice in Wonderland. And now, before I go any farther, I do want to talk about the title is wrong. This should have been called, there's a billion titles, Return to Wonderland, Alice Fights the Jabberwocky, Alice Slays the Jabberwocky, Alice's Wonderful Return to Wonderland. I mean, there's a billion different titles you could have came up with. And so she has to fight the Jabberwocky to save the day, and yeah. Okay, now let's actually talk about the film a little bit. I enjoyed the film. I'm gonna get right out and tell it. I actually enjoyed it. I thought the acting was fairly good. I thought the special effects were excellent. I thought the one pet peeve I have about this movie, other than the dance at the very end, everyone mentions that, and I agree with it. The dance the Mad Hatter does is really dorky. And I think Johnny Depp does really good as Mad Hatter. I don't like the outfit. The white face and the hat and the thing he's wearing, I don't really like it. Blows himself up. Dude said it was bad, and I agree with him. They could have went with something a lot better, and they didn't. Also, I enjoyed the Cheshire Cat like everybody else. They did a really good thing with the Cheshire Cat. He's always good if done right. Very popular Alice character, and I liked how they did him in this film. Also, my favorite character in the movie was the mouse. I thought the mouse was cool. I liked the fact that it had a sword. And the mouse upset me for one reason. Why couldn't they do something like this, like that mouse in Narnia, Prince Caspian, Chronicles of Narnia 2, Prince Caspian, because they had to do a big mouse, and I think this mouse worked, and that's what I was hoping they were going to do in Chronicles of Narnia, but they didn't. They had to have this gigantic mouse, which I don't like that. Okay. But beyond that, I enjoyed the movie, and I think it was really enjoyable. The characters were really enticing. The land really got me there. Yeah. The movie, I don't know if it dragged out a little long, but it was not so long, but yeah. And why did they do this? I mean, I understand kind of why they did this. Alice in the story isn't really a good protagonist. She doesn't really do much of anything, and they wanted a character that could actually do things. The White Queen was actually pretty interesting, and I loved the scene with the frogs, where they're saying, "Did you eat my chocolates? Did you eat my chocolates? No, you ate my chocolates." That was funny, and there were a lot of funny moments in this movie, I think. Anything else? Yeah, the fight scene at the very end was kind of, you thought you were going to get a big fight scene, and it was not as big as it could have been. And why didn't the armies fight as much as, I don't know. I think they could have done something better with the end. I give this movie an 8 out of 10. Actually an 8.5 out of 10. I think it is a good watch, and if you like the story, you'll probably enjoy this movie. It is pretty good. Hello, this is Goku4071 here with my third and final video in my Alice reviews. This is not a review, but what I want them to do with the franchise. I've heard they're sequeling the video game American McGee's Alice. If that's true, I definitely want to play it. I do want to play the original, and I have a PC, and I think it was on PC, so I'm definitely going to look into it. If it's on PlayStation, I think it was also on PlayStation, I'm going to look into see if I can get that game and play it, because I haven't played it. But I'm going to talk about, but I think they should make an adaptation of that. A dark Alice, a more adult, mature Alice, where Alice actually has to do things. That's interesting to me. If anybody knows, if this is true, I've been hearing that Tim McFarlane's actually going to be remaking Oz, and I like the fact that they're taking these stories that are known to be kid stories and actually doing things that are a little bit more mature with them. Because these stories aren't actually kid stories. I know that these stories weren't originally made for kids, or at least not little kids. Like the Grimm Tales. The Grimm Tales were not originally meant to be kids' stories, and now they're very known to be kids' tales, which they're not really. They were much darker, and they didn't really have happy endings. And I don't know why we're so obsessed with happy endings. I like when things don't always go according to plan. Yeah. Also, I definitely want them to eventually do Alice Through the Looking Glass. I don't know much about it. I've seen the BBC version of it. I think it was the BBC version of it. And I think that would be cool as a movie. Through the Looking Glass. I mean, there's a lot you can do with that too. This is Goku4071 here with the end of my Alice reviews. Both Mini Kajub and JTrain997 gave their opinions, and they basically said how horrible the Alice in Wonderland was. But there are other people out there. BSG Cast, very good YouTube page, said how good the movie is. And if you have never seen any of their videos, go. They do a lot of reviews, and they also review every episode of Caprica. Great show, gotta see it. Also, yeah, so there are a lot of people that gave reviews. Go online if you don't like my opinion. And yeah, see you next time.